It's time for our next section of Goliath. This is found on page 6 of your music, but you don't need to turn there right now because we're going to do a lot of repetition. Let's start by putting the beat in our snaps. Up, snap, up, snap. Good job. Repeat after me. David stood up to Goliath. Your turn. David stood up to Goliath. My turn. He didn't even have a sword. Your turn. He didn't even have a sword. My turn. All he had was 5 round rocks. Your turn. All he had was 5 round rocks. And the power of the Lord. And the power of the Lord. Let's put that far together. I think many of you have already memorized this section of it. So let's try it. Here we go. David stood up to Goliath. He didn't even have a sword. All he had was 5 round rocks and the power of the Lord. There you go. All right, one more time with that section. Here we go. David stood up to Goliath. He didn't even have a sword. All he had was 5 round rocks and the power of the Lord. Then we stop our snaps and we go, he put a rock in his old slingshot. Try that. He put a rock in his old slingshot. Can you say rock, rock? He put a rock in his old slingshot. Your turn. He put a rock in his old slingshot. So if you can, hit that K of rock, and that will help that word to stand out. He put a rock in his old slingshot. Your turn. He put a rock in his old slingshot. Next part. And when that stone had flown. Your turn. And when that stone had flown. Again. And when that stone had flown. Put those two together. Listen. He put a rock in his old slingshot, and when that stone had flown. Go that far. He put a rock in his old slingshot, and when that stone had flown. My turn. It hit Goliath between the eyes. Your turn. It hit Goliath between the eyes. Are you sure you're mirroring me? So it should be your right hand that hits your left hand. It hit Goliath between the eyes. Your turn. It hit Goliath between the eyes. Next part. And he let out a groan. Your turn. And he let out a groan. And if you're on part 2, you go groan. All right. Let's sing that whole section all the way through. We start with the snaps, and here we go. David stood up to Goliath. He didn't even have a sword. All he had was 5 round rocks and the power of the Lord. He put a rock in his old slingshot, and when that stone had flown, it hit